Hello everyone. This is Dr. Sriram, working in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering in SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Katanguluttur, Tamil Nadu, India. And today we are going to look at the new course called Design Thinking Methodology. And it's a very important course for all the students who is about to have a degree in their hand. And this design thinking, it's a very fundamental course and it's a very interesting course about it. And let us start our course from the introduction part. And what is meant by design thinking? Especially, I like to start with it is a human centric course and it is future focused and it creates some value. Especially this design thinking is the art of creative problem solving techniques. And this will bring the creativity, idea, innovation to your day to day process by reshaping and recalibrating your thinking. And this approach will empathy and experimenting to arrive at innovative solutions, and especially this human element and the end user experiences is the key point to the design thinking. As I said earlier, the design thinking is a human centered and iterative problem solving approach. This will focus on four important main factors, such as understanding the needs of an user, the next one, challenging assumptions, then redefining the problems and creating innovative solutions. This will combine the creativity with the analytical process and is also often used in the product development, business strategy, and social innovation. Now you have to look at it. What is the difference between that normal thinking, I mean the traditional thinking, and the design thinking? Of course, there are some differences are there. When you look at that normal thinking, I mean the traditional thinking method, usually what the user will think about is that you look at some problems, they will look at what's the right answer for the particular problem. They also will be looking at that. They will be more talkative person and they will look at about the data and events and focuses about the fix about it. But what the design thinking person will look at it for the particular problem, what they ask is that is this the right question for the particular problem in order to get the better solution? And instead of talking too much, they will start to listen more much. And instead of concentrating on the data, what they do is the design thinking person, they will correlate all the data and make it as a story so that they can experience this and they can focus on the feelings too. And this is all about the design thinking person will think different from the normal traditional thinking person. So now look at what are the principles of design thinking. Usually the design thinking principle which is focuses on five important factors. One is an empathy, second one is a define, then third one is the ideate, and fourth one is a prototype, and the last one is the testing. Now let us see what is meant by empathy now. Now, empathy is nothing but to understand the user's needs, motivations, and challenges, and through multiple angle. Let us see the observations, interviews, and the engagement. Next one is the define. So the next one of the basic principles on the design thinking is to clearly articulate the problem which is based on the insights gathered from the empathy of the face. And next one is the ideate. So ideate is to generate a wide range of creative ideas to solve the problems, often through brainstorming, because the brainstorming is the best method in order to create and in order to develop the multiple ideas for the particular problem. Then we may have n number of solutions for a problem then, but this idea will identify the best solution for the particular problem then. Now, next one is that prototyping. It is to build a simple and tangible representation of ideas to explore and to test them. The last one is the testing. It is to gather the feedback by testing prototypes with users and refining the solutions based on their input. Then now we look at the different kind of applications where the design thinking can be applied for it. There are some examples or some application that I have listed on the screen. The first one is that shows the design thinking which will encourage the creativity and user-centric designs, which is used to lead to a new and useful offerings that better meet the user needs. And next one is that enhancing the customer experiences. How does it will work as to enhance the customer experiences? This is can be done by understanding the customer pain points and their expectations. These businesses can redesign interactions that can be more seamless and personalized and satisfying. The next one is the solving the complex businesses and for social challenges. So the design thinking that will provide the better tool to break down and understand the complex problem, making it useful for tackling issues as like poverty, healthcare, education, or organizational inefficiencies. The last one is to improve the process and systems. This helps in streamlining the workflows, removing the bottlenecks, and creating more efficient systems both in systems and public services. So now there are few characteristics this design thinking host has. Of course, let us see one by one. The first one is a user centric. The user centric, which is mainly focusing on the people experiencing from their problems. The next one is the collaborative. Collaborative is used to this will encourages the teamwork across the diverse disciplines, because if you take a particular organization, there are n number of team people are there. They will work on different disciplines, so this will encourage them across the teamwork, so that all the teamwork's final solution can be interlinked, that can be collaborated to come with a better solution for a particular product. Next one is iterative. So this will involve the repeating phases to redefine the ideas and solutions to satisfy the customer expectations. The next one is the experimental. This will emphasize the trying new approaches and learning from failures. So there are different approaches that can be used for the design thinking. So what you are seeing on the screen, this image will illustrate the different kind of approaches to the design thinking, which uses that Venn diagram with the three overlapping circles. Each circle represents a crucial aspect of successful design. Now let us see, the first one is that desirable. So this desirable, there's a question which is being asked in this Venn diagram concentrating on the desirable. The first one, this aspect focus on understanding the human needs, behaviors, emotions, and this design thinking will help us by identifying what users actually want and what their needs. The next one is that feasible. So the feasible is the technical part. Is it that technically possible to build the solutions? Of course, this considers the technical aspects and constraints such as available technology, tools, and the engineering capabilities that can be help us to correlate all these technical related things. The next one is the viable. So here, can the company profit from the solution? Of course, this is about the business viability. So this will encourage and ensure the solution is economically sustainable and can generate revenue or the value. So what we do is that all these three circles are put together. We found a center common point that is called as goal. So if you look at the all the overlapping areas in the center, all three circles which is shaded in that blue color represents the ideal solution. That is the desirable, that's what people want, and the feasible, it can be built, and the and visible viable, it makes business senses. All these things are put together, that is help us to achieve our goal then. Now let us see when and why this design thinking must be used. So this session will highlight four main areas where the design thinking can be applied for the each practical problems. So first, let us see this when and why design thinking is used. So this is a very ideal for the situations where innovation, creativity, or user-centric solutions are needed. First of all, I like to say the design is not about the looks, but the design is something different. What I'm coming to say is that design is not just what does it look like or feels like. Design is how does it work. So when the problem is very complex, of course, this design thinking will help us, because when the problem is not clearly understood or lacks of straightforward situations, for example, you take that some cities like Delhi and Mumbai, how can we increase or improve or enhance the public transportation so that the public can go and come back for the work. And this design thinking helps to define and frame the problems through empathy and user insights. The next one is a user-centric solutions are crucial. When the success of a solution depends on addressing the needs, pain points, and the aspirations of users or customers, this design thinking will help us in designing a product that improves accessibility for people and with the disabilities. For example, you look at the rapid prototyping and iteration, which are needed when solution need to be tested and redefined quickly to minimize the risks. Let us bring you one example. When you go for testing the multiple prototypes for a wearable fitness devices, before final production is comes, of course, it requires what are the things it need to address the human and social challenges when tackling issues like healthcare access, education reform, or environmental sustainability. This design thinking is well suited for such kind of social social innovation, and systematic problems. Why use this design thinking? Of course, this design thinking allows the teams to identify flaws eagerly and redefine the solutions before significant resources are committed, which used to solve the complex problems by breaking down into small manageable parts and iterating the solutions. As I said earlier, it is a human-centered solution. It focuses on the real needs of users, ensuring the solutions are practical and impactful. Second one is that it encourages the creativity innovation. How? By challenging the assumptions and exploring multiple ideas, this design thinking helps the generate unique solutions. Next one is that it also promotes the collaboration by engaging multidisciplinary teams, encouraging diverse perspectives and expertise. So the examples of when design thinking is being used. So this session will highlight the four main areas where the design thinking can be applied, and each followed by a practical examples. The first one is the product development. So here, developing a smartphone app for the better healthcare monitoring. No, this design thinking helps in creating user-centered products by understanding the patient needs and design tech-driven healthcare solutions. The next one is that you see the service innovation. So here the redesigning a customer service experience as a retail brand by empathizing with the customers, the companies can improve service delivery, making interactions smoother or more satisfying then. The next one is a social impact. Here, creating solutions to improve clean water access is unserved communities. Here, not only that water access, but also it can concentrate on the different social challenges such as sanitation, education, or healthcare in underdeveloped areas. Then last one is that organizational challenge. Here, rethinking the workplace policies to enhance that employee satisfaction. If you look at within the organization, this design thinking methodology will help us to improve the internal culture by identifying the employee pain points and collaboratively design better practices. So from this course, the introduction part of this design thinking, as I said, there's a difference between the traditional thinking and the design thinker. So design thinking is a solution oriented, and the design thinking always starts with an empathy. So design thinking is a human centered, and design thinking is future focused. So with this introduction part, we'll conclude today about the design thinking, and tomorrow we'll continue with the next session. Okay, thank you.